M0FXP. Here we are with the node that is. I've made a Allstar node and I put it inside this box here. Now there's no LEDs in it and the clock thing doesn't work, but the switch does. I've got the switch working here, and I just need some LED bulbs so I get some LED lights flashing at the front soon. So basically inside that is a Raspberry Pi 3B, both on 888S with the antenna sticking out the top. Which is quite funny.
Good afternoon. The time is 2:13 p.m.
That's the radio talking to you. So, I'm just typing in the Supermon address, see if I can get it on Supermon. So yeah, it's all put together. There's a couple of buck converters in there, and then there was this was an old pump for my car, which had blown up. I kept the case, but it came with a very long cable, cigarette lighter cable, so that was very handy. So that goes into the box. So right, let's get it on Supermon as well. Obviously I had to configure everything. You have to load an SD card with an Allstar image, then you have to go into WinSCP and configure that, and then into PuTTY and configure that. So yeah, it's a few hours involved making it. And I bought the sound card pre-modified, that saves a lot of work. It's very fine soldering. Well, for me it is with my not great eyesight. But the actual connecting the Raspberry Pi to the radio, that's not too bad. It's about 4 or 5 wires. That's quite basic soldering, that, even for me. So I've got the IP address for the Supermon. So we're just going to get that in here and connect. Oops, shouldn't have used capitals. I'm rushing, that's my problem. Okay. Right, my laggy laptop. So that's what Supermon looks like, and then to control the node, I'll show you how to control it using the radio. But to control the node, you use Supermon. That's sorry about any glare from my flash. But anyway, so you log in here, and you can control it. This isn't one of Peter's ones. That's a lot better. Okay. No, we typed that in wrong. Should have logged in before, shouldn't I? Right. No, it's not letting me log in. Right, okay. I keep getting my password wrong. Alright, well, that's fine. That's me typing too fast. Let's try and connect to something using the actual radio. So here's the frequency, all pre-programmed. So we're going to go hold the PTT. We're going to go star 3 4 1 5 2 2. Let go. Try again. We are connected. I hear the sound of connection. Right, we're going to go back to connecting. So I am logged in now. Let's see if we can connect to HubNet. 41522. And we'll hit connect. Right. So.
Node 415.
Yeah, Roger there, Steve. Nice to hear you again, mate.
Node
And hopefully catch you further down the road and find on the repeaters up there. 73G0 Charlie Delta.
There you go. So, and that's on the 888S. So there you are. It's just I had all the bits lying around to make one. So there it is. Old pump box. You can buy these pumps for about 20 quid. And it's got the antenna there. I'll put some LEDs on the front. So yeah, I thought you'd find it interesting. 7.3. All the best. FXB. Right, I'm going to make a third node. I still recommend that you get a pre-made node by G7RPG. The control panel on it is excellent and it's very good value for money, and that's the one I recommend. But after that, you might think, well, I do fancy making one myself. I'm not great at soldering, but I fancy making one because I'm very interested in Allstar nodes, which is what I did. So what you're going to need is, I recommend you buy a pre-modified CM108 sound card. Now, Ben makes these, but I'm sure other people do as well. But Ben, you'll find him on YouTube, 2E0BMT or G5REV. He makes these. This is one that he made, yeah? And so it saves a lot of soldering because there's some quite small soldering to do on here. You know, you've got a couple of resistors to solder in. You've got in there, there's a transistor in there which connects to 3 connectors. You've got some fine connections here for one is for the LED. Like these 2 wires coming downwards are for the LED. These 4 are the ones that connect to the radio, and the white one isn't. Well, they're all important anyway. So they're the ones you'll see me soldering to my radio. So what we're going to do, we're going to just take the radio apart. We do need to remove a couple of a heat coil and a transistor, was it, on there. Now you do need a Raspberry Pi, a 3B. You need an SD card. Now you're gonna, on a separate video that I've done, it shows you how to put the image of Allstar from Ham VoIP onto this card, and then to configure it. First of all, using your LAN connector is easier, and then you can add your Wi-Fi details after. So you need this is what's going to be power everything. This is called a buck converter. I think it's L259. So basically 12 volts in, and then you can adjust this little gold screw to change the voltage coming out. And what you could do is you could add some diodes, because you need to supply one with 4 volts and then the Raspberry Pi with 5. So you could add some diodes to sort of lower one, you have 2 live outputs, and then you could lower one to the 4 volts for the radio. You've got other options. You could power the Raspberry Pi using a normal USB. You could even probably power the radio, I haven't tried it yet, using the charger that comes with the radio. I haven't even tried that. It's just thinking out loud. So you definitely need 10K resistors. Now you buy these in packs of 10 for about £2 or less. So 2 of them get soldered onto the back of the radio. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to take the radio apart. It's a couple of screws here, a couple of these specialist type screws here, but I'm sure you've got a tool that will fit them. Pull the knob off. Now you have to pull them all off, but it makes sense to actually push back on the volume control, because one day you might want to change it and it's just easier. But to get the thing apart, and then when we do take it apart, we're just going to have to remove the LED, which you can just twist off. And then there's a little microphone in there. So this isn't assembled and constructed the same as the G7 RPG node. It's slightly different, but this is how I'm going to do it because it's the way I know how. So let's keep watching. So took the battery off. Now let's just by pushing that clip there. Then you've got these to take off. I'm taking them off now. These type sort of screws, torque screws. Then we'll take off these 2 screws here. Like so. These Bofeng 888Ss, you can buy them for a tenner. So they don't cost much. You can buy 2. If you buy them in pairs, they're cheaper. So take that off, and then the next thing is to get the 2 knobs off. Actually, sometimes they come off easy, sometimes they're quite stiff. So what I do is just wedge them up with a flat screwdriver, but carefully. So if you look, I'm just being careful. Look, it's just gradually easing that one off. Keep the knobs, they come in handy, don't they? So, and then just same again here, just sort of see it just start to go. There you go. You got them off, like so. Now, let's see. I'm not sure if I've missed anything. Let's just. Now the speaker will still be connected. Now, have I forgotten anything? Right. Well, I'll just make sure that I haven't forgotten anything. Yeah, I just remembered. See the chrome rings? You've got two, one here and one here. You've got to remove them. So you can normally get a flat screwdriver in the gap and just sort of turn them. Yeah, so got one off, and then what I do is just put in the screwdriver in the little gap and just turning it, really. Bitfully, don't stab yourself. But it does, they do go. You put them in the gap and they just go. See, that one went. So you get the idea. It's bitfully, don't stab yourself, that's the main thing. It is going. Bit by bit it's turning. Okay, well it's off. The three things. So with a bit of luck, we can just lever that up. I have made a video of doing the last one, and then it'll just pull out like so, and then you have to snip those cables where you can see the speaker goes. It's quite a handy speaker. It's very loud, that speaker. So I got some snips here. I'll just snip them. So that comes off like so. I keep all this sort of stuff, typical ham. So there's the radio. Not sure what all these marks are on it, but I'll give that a clean up because I've never used this radio. It's a brand new radio. Bit worrying. Anyway, so the LED I've watched, you can just sort of keep twisting it like so. I might end up using it. And it comes off. There you go. And even this microphone. Now if you look at the G7 RPG node, he actually uses the microphone connector as a way of connecting the white, I think it's CMOS connector. But I'm not going to do that on this one because I'm just copying Ben's design here. So for now we're just going to twist this off. When you twist it off, don't damage this chip. So I'm just going to twist it without damaging that chip. So just give it a bit of that. That comes off quite easy. That's the microphone off. So there you go, little microphone. And then we need to make sure that those microphone connectors aren't touching. We'll need to remove these two wires. Now there's a connector here that we use, so I'll show you that close up when we're doing it. So this is the board we're interested in. So we've got a few screws here to remove. We've got a bit of solder. We need to remove this solder to make the board lift off. This plastic thing just comes off. The antenna, and what G7 RPG does, he solders an antenna here. But we're not going to do that in this case. So okay, let's get the soldering iron out. I think we've got to take these screws out first. So well, we can do that while the video's running. So I think we need them back, these screws, because we're going to refix the board back onto the radio afterwards, because we still need the back of the radio to act as a sort of like a heat sink. Although the power's reduced a lot, we're still going to do that. So yeah. Okay, so let's also take the screw out right here in the middle, like so. Whip that one out, not going to lose that either. So lastly, we're going to do that bit of solder and then see if we can lift it off. Right, so there's no point moaning about my soldering. I am rubbish at soldering. So let's just get these off. Let's get the whole board off first, which is this one. Sometimes it's easier to add a bit of solder first. Let's clean it and then we'll tin it.
We'll need the heatsink, so don't get rid of it. Across to the first gauge wire, just transistor needs to come off. And then you need a back off the heatsink. We'll need the heatsink, so don't get rid of it. Then what we're going to do is remove this last inductor coil. Very easy to desolder because of course it inducts heat as well as electricity. So that just comes straight off. And then a little bit more tricky, we need to remove this trap. Is soldered in place. We're done on that side. One last bit of 30 gauge wire just needs to go to the pin on the bottom, and we need to do up the screws again. Got rid of all of the screws straight off, and then you need about 1 centimetre of 30 gauge wire. We're done on the 3 little solder pads at the top there.
So that circle, yeah, with that, sorry. 1, 2, and then it's the third one across. So we're still trying. We'll get this heat sink off. And that came, or one side came. Don't mind if we damage it because I'm not using it. We have to add a wire to this. It's going to come off. There you go, that's off. The wire, if I remember right, goes from here to here, but we still haven't got this off. I think the wire effectively is bypassing this chip, and I think this chip increases the power of the radio. So we've got the 10k resistor here, and we've got another one here. And on the other side, I found it really difficult removing that transistor there. I don't even know if it's properly removed, but I have managed to get the wire from these two capacitors. You remove the capacitor here, which is immediately to the left of the transistor. So these two resistors here, there's a wire that goes from there to, you know where there was that coil? There was a coil here, heat coil. So to the left one, you know, if you've got the blue thing here. So wire goes from the third one, the resistor that was removed, or capacitor, wherever it was. So to the left of that, you've got these two here, you know, or here and here. And then there's a wire that goes across. It's a very thin wire, 30 gauge, to here. So that's, so the next thing is to now think about connecting the sound card, the Raspberry Pi, and all the wires together. We need to get a wire connected here, just a thin wire here on this little corner one here, and then leave that just tailing off, because we need to connect to that when we've put the radio back together. So we just tack this little yellow wire here on the corner one, like so. Need to get a bit more solder on there. So just here. Okay, that's on there. So we're just going to push this back on. It's a bit of soldered bit. That's gone back in there like so. Yeah, let's push back in. And then we're going to put the screws back in. So get the screws back in, holding the board on. Got that bit of gap where the wire pokes through. The wire I used a bit fat, but I think it'll work. Another screw here. A screw here right in the middle. Like so. And then one here on the far left. Okay, So now we're going to get our Raspberry Pi. What I'll probably do to test this, see if it even works, I'll probably just get the SD card from the Raspberry Pi that I've already made. Now, I've got a separate video to show you how to make and set up the SD card ready for the Raspberry Pi. But you can actually set that up without even doing the radio. You can literally just get the SD card, load the Allstar image on, and you can do everything, even to the point of Supermon, without even having a radio. But anyway, so right now we'll get the radio like so. We'll get the sound card like so. So sound card's in, and then we'll just start connecting some wires up. Now, what if I'm going to have to solder a couple to these ones here. There's an earth one here that goes on the edge. So we'll just do one at a time. I know that the white one goes here. So I can just twist that one on for now. Yeah, we can shorten all these afterwards. I just want to see if the thing even works. So, and let's just start going one at a time and working out where each colour wire goes. What I'm going to do, I'm going to tin each wire that needs it. Might get some flux on there. Okay, I think they're all tinned. So I know we need to get a bit of an earth on the top of this USB here, so I'm giving it a bit of a scratch. And then we'll probably do another one here for the LED lights. They need an earth as well. So we'll get some solder on here. And that'll be where we connect our earth later. So let's see how it takes. It takes quite a lot of heat on these. Yes, my soldering is rubbish. I know. Why is that not going on the end? Okay. Try again. Okay. There's a bit there, seems alright. Right, got a bit of solder on the USB connectors. Probably would have made sense to take that out first, but oh well, they're on there. We're going to put a bit of black wire on one of them. The lesson I learnt was put 2 wires going from the radio to the Raspberry Pi, otherwise you get feedback. So the earth, these 2 here, we've got these 2 wires from the Pi. Yeah, these 2. Those 2 black wires are going to go here. You've got the screw there, little empty one there, then here, that's your earth. So we're going to add some solder there and then we're going to connect it on. Okay, so the black wires are on. Right, next the yellow wire is going to go here onto this resistor. That's the next. Hopefully we'll get it to reach. Like so. I have sort of tinned these, but you know, could always be better. And then we'll obviously insulate it or so it can't touch anything later. The red wire, no, I know what I've done wrong. I put one of the wrong black wires in the wrong place. So, no, yeah, the black wire needs. Both the black wires need to come from the Raspberry Pi, and then the black wire from the sound card goes here. So we can swap that over now. So as you can see, you've got black wire going to that 10k resistor from the sound card. You've got the CMOS wire going inside the radio that's connecting to the chip. Then you've got the red wire now is going to go here somewhere. I'm just going to double check exactly where it goes. I've got a feeling it goes here. Yeah, so the red wire goes, if you can see, there's a lot of stuff here, right here. So right next to the sort of ear plug, that's our next solder. Okay, so we've now got the red wire here. Okay, so you need to make sure none of these wires are touching any earth. Obviously that one is an earth. So black sound card one there, yellow wire there. These 2 here, I'm pretty sure they're LED. They're for LED, so I can test it without connecting the LED wires if I'm right. I will double check. I've got a SD card in there that's pre-programmed. All I've got to do now really is power the radio. I know I can power the Raspberry Pi with a USB. I'll probably just put the battery back in the radio, power it, and just see if it works. So yeah, let's might give it a test in a minute. Just remembering that I have pre-programmed the radio with the frequencies and got it on the correct channel that's gonna, you know, gonna work with the with everything that's set up. Okay, so we're still getting there. What we're gonna have to do is we need to add a live here. Pretty sure it's here. That's your plus from the buck converter. Right, got my buck converter. We're gonna have to get some power to this radio. So you've got I've soldered wires going in from a 12-volt supply. Then we've got the voltage coming out, which we're gonna test in a minute to make sure it's 4 volts. And I just soldered a couple of wires. And then the live wire that I've soldered on the radio goes here. And I'm gonna connect in using this connector here. So yeah, give it a go. Okay, so we have some success. We're connected to M0HOY. Have a good look at the wires here, the configuration and the buck converter. So we're on a 12-volt battery. There's our buck converter. someone's got a permanent key. So you can see the wire configuration. So we've got the pre-made sound card. Just turn that down a bit. Pre-made sound card. I'll put you a link where you can get that from. There's all the wires connected. Earth-wise, look, we've got the earth on the Raspberry Pi. The live power from the buck converter reduced to 4 watts coming here. And the Raspberry Pi for now is just on a USB because I haven't got round to fitting a buck converter for that. It's definitely working. Now, I'm trying to work out why it's in permanent transmit. So I'm going to disconnect and just reboot it.
2. Disconnected.
Right. So we're disconnected. Got a lot of builders going on here today. Right. So in theory, I can connect to the 40894 sound test and just test it. So let's try that. Right. You'll hear it connect.
Node 40894 connected to node 5390110.
Okay, so that's the HubNet sound test. Now, I haven't even tested the audio on this, so it's possible that the audio needs adjusting. So here goes. Mike 0 Fox X-Ray Bravo test.
Playback.
Mike 0 Fox X-Ray Bravo test. There you go. We'll try again. M0 FXB test. Allstar node number 3.
Playback.
M0 FXB test. Allstar node number 3. Right. So hopefully that'll help. Remember that was a quick one because the CM108 sound card was made by someone else, so it saved a lot of soldering. So
40894 connected.
So catch you later. Please subscribe. 73.
9450.
I want to have a quick look inside your G7 RPG node. There it is there. Just turn it upside down. It's just 4 screws here. Just zip them off one at a time. Turn it back over and then lift the lid off.
Mike 0 Foxtrot X-Ray Bravo from Mike 7 Bravo Papa Oscar. It's Tyler on this end. How are you doing tonight?
Yeah, hi Tyler, good to meet you. Name's, like I said, Andreas in Western Supermare. Just running on a Bofang and a Raspberry, a node that a homemade Allstar node. How's my audio? Back to you, M0 FXB.
Mike 7 Bravo Papa Oscar. Hello Andreas. Yes, your audio is very good actually, very clear. I'm on a high terror BD785. I'm not sure what node I'm connected to, if I'm totally honest. I'm just on the repeater and it seems to be connected, so I'm on it. But yes, your audio is very, very good.
Well, that's good. Good report on the audio. So it's definitely working. 7.3. Yeah. It's fully working now. So look, we got a couple of buck converters, one for each, with the Raspberry Pi and the Bofang 888S. We've got the CM108 modified sound card, the antennas in the radio. Here's the radio that I'm using. It's now stuck here. So it's got my friend there replying to me. So I'm just using this old pump case that I had lying around. The idea is that when it's finished, it'll be like that, with the antenna sticking out the top, like a big radio, but it's a node. And I've got an LED I'm going to use here, like if it's the right voltage. So let's just go back to Lionel and have a quick test. M6 LSJ, M0 FXB. So yeah, this is node number 3. It's a bit of messing around configuring because I was doing lots of typos, but once you've got the Allstar image, the S-Start, the configuration in PuTTY, and then soldered the wires as previous video, job done. Working node, M0 FXB73. FXB, so you're trying to use chirp on your UV5R. You've got a cable, looks pretty much like this, and it keeps going into error, it just doesn't work. So the trick is, for me anyway, is that it isn't pushing in properly into the pins. So all you've got to do is just get this cable and just cut a piece away here. You might not be able to see the cuts, but I've cut a piece away here, a couple of mils worth. Then when you plug it into the radio, you'll hear the computer go doo-doo, which you didn't hear, but anyway, it did do it. And then it'll work. Same goes for TYT radio. 7.3, all the best.